Guys, this is Jackie Cooper with J. Cooper Travels, and today I am super excited to have a mayor of a very special city in Mississippi with us today. And as many of you know, my podcast is both about travel across the country and around the globe, as well as personal journeys. So I have the mayor here today, and I want to welcome you for coming on and sharing more about your great city. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I love any opportunity to brag about Tupelo, Mississippi. So I'm proud to be here and look forward to the podcast.
So I'm going to be sharing a screen in a second, but before I share the screen, how did you get involved with becoming a mayor and providing service to your city? I mean, every story, usually is like a twist and a turn. How did you end up deciding to do all this? Because it's fascinating to me.
So I was born and raised in Tupelo. It's the only city I've ever called home. The only time I've really left was when I went to college and law school. So other than that, I'm 44. I've lived in Tupelo my entire life. Uh, I became interested in politics at a very young age. I went, the student council route, very active in clubs and in school and in college, majored in political science. But I never really knew if I would run for office. Came back home, practiced law and family law firm, starting in late 1999. And then in late 2012, getting ready for the 2013 municipal elections in the city of Tupelo, I really felt that the city was at kind of a crossroads. And, I thought, I want to be polite and diplomatic, but as far as the people that had qualified, I thought that might not be the right direction for the city to go. So I qualified. I was kind of late qualifying to run for mayor, but was fortunate enough to get elected in 2013 and then reelected in 2017. Not to get too deep into politics, but I'm the first Democrat elected in Tupelo in 30 years. And what I'm more proud of than that, Tupelo, like a lot of cities across the country, you had kind of a wrong side of the track. So Tupelo's known for being the birthplace of Elvis Presley. And if you're an Elvis fan, you know that he was born on the wrong side of the tracks, born on the poor side of town. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get his looks and I didn't get his singing ability or anything like that. But I was also born in the same neighborhood. So I'm the first mayor in the history of the city from that side of town. So very, very proud of that.
So for those who might not know about Tupelo, how large a city is it?
Tupelo has a population of right at 40,000, just a little bit under 40,000 people. But that's a little bit misleading. Mississippi is a small rural state. We're the economic hub in Northeast Mississippi. So the daytime population in Tupelo is around 100,000 people. We have the largest rural hospital in the United States here in Tupelo, smallest city in the country that's home of two banks valued at over $10 billion. Furniture industry is huge here. So it's a small city, but we've got a lot going for us.
Sounds like it. I have put up the website and I was just amazed at all the various things that you've listed here, from the various murals that people can go and look at in terms of the artwork to, as you mentioned, it being the birthplace of Elvis. What other highlights would you like to share? Because I know we're doing a lot of road trips these days, and it's really wonderful to explore our own country.
I could talk for an hour about this. I can tell you with a straight face that we speak English in America because of Tupelo, Mississippi. We were part of the French and Indian War, one of the consequential battles for the westward expansion of, British at the time, United States. occurred here in Tupelo, the Battle of Acquia, and that's really what led to the French withdrawal from this part of the country. We're the home of the Natchez Trace, which is the oldest road in North America. Native American trail, trade route. Very treacherous at one time, but now very scenic parkway. We're part of course, in the South, the Civil War battle here in Tupelo, part of the Civil Rights Movement, part of FDR's New Deal with New Deal programs, including the first TVA city for electricity here in the Tennessee Valley. So there's a lot of interesting history here in the city of Tupelo, but when I travel, when I go anywhere all over the world and I say I'm from Tupelo, Elvis Presley is always the first thing to come to mind. We're known all over the world for that.
So is this his house right here?
Right, that is the actual home, where there's a little bit of debate. His parents' home was his grandparents had a house next door, so there's a little bit of debate of whether he was actually physically born in that home or not, but that's his childhood home. The exact location, Elvis donated the money for the city of Tupelo to purchase the home and the surrounding 15 acres to make it a park. And growing up over there, for me, more significant than Elvis Presley, that was a swimming pool and soccer field and things like that when I was a kid.
So when people come to the town, the city rather, where do you, how many days should they stay? And like, I saw that you actually even have a planning area on your website. So then you have a map, and it's really great if someone's taking a road trip that they're able to kind of plan out their whole trip. But what are some highlights that you would recommend?
Right, so the website, of course, is a great resource to really, from attractions, historical attractions. We're really kind of developing into a sort of a foodie town. All the great, farm to table, all the great restaurants here, from shopping, dining, recreation, you name it, you can find it there at tupelo.net.
So do you have, what about colleges or universities? Do you have different universities down where you are, like that people might want to check out as well on a road trip?
So we're about 60, 70 miles from both Mississippi State University and the University of Mississippi, or Ole Miss. Tupelo is not really known as a college town, but we do have a branch of the University of Mississippi. We have a branch of the Mississippi University for Women, and we have a branch of Etowah Community College. So we're not really known as a university town, but you can get your 4-year degree right here in Tupelo.
So for those that might not know, where exactly are you located within the state?
Tupelo is kind of a crossroads town. We grew up around an intersection of railroads, but the easiest way, just kind of in a larger map, Tupelo is almost halfway if you're going from Memphis to Birmingham, and almost halfway if you're going from Jackson, Mississippi to Nashville, Tennessee. So we're in the northeast corner of the state of Mississippi.
So I'm going to just kind of go over to your website and scroll on down the best of, and I see you have different military and memorial museums. You have a driving tour for Elvis. You also, as you mentioned, there's a lot of restaurants. It talks about soaking up the sun and just kind of relaxing. Sweet tooth, there's art on the wall. Snap that pic. Again, when you're traveling around, you want to document where you've been. And as you mentioned, there's walking paths for those that are hiking. For those that are listening to the podcast, as well as those that might be looking on the YouTube, I do want to mention that there's a little area underneath the podcast where I will put the link for the website for the city and, contact information. So that way you can definitely check out there's even an Elvis Guitar Trail. That's very special. Tell me a little bit more about that. It says that there's more than 25 guitars that are permanent part of the downtown cityscape.
So that just all over downtown Tupelo, they've actually been taken up right now for another project, but they'll be put back. The guitars are all over downtown, and from grade school students to local artists to the businesses themselves, they're all different. So you might have something from the fifth grade class at Lawhorn, or you might have something from Tupelo Hardware Store, or where Elvis bought his first guitar, on the guitar that is located in front of that business. So it's kind of just a fun thing to do, to walk around and see the guitars. One thing I forgot to mention, when you talked about the walking trail a little bit up, that's adjacent to the Natchez Trace Parkway that I mentioned, the oldest road in North America. In addition to all the other wonderful history of Tupelo, this was the capital of the Chickasaw Nation. So the Native American Chickasaw Nation, we have a wonderful relationship with them. Governor Anna Tubby does a fantastic job, but that's one more culturally significant aspect of the city of Tupelo and the heritage here.
Very much so. That's extremely important. And I'm just kind of going on down for those that are not watching but might be listening. It also lists various places that you can go and get a cup of coffee and enjoy, and also, of course, breakfast and other eateries. This is definitely and there. Oh, I just noticed something on your website again. For those on the podcast, there's Ask a Local. So you can actually, have conversations with those who are, within the area, especially if you're planning a trip. How did you decide how to set the website up? Because it's really, it's so thorough. I'm really impressed with everything that's on here.
Well, I can't take any credit for that. Our CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau, the director, Neil McCoy, they do an absolutely fantastic, world-class job. They manage this website, and they spend, a lot of time, a lot of resources are devoted to it, marketing the city of Tupelo and making sure that the website is up to date and easy, to use, easy to navigate. The visitor center here in Tupelo is an interactive visitor center. Several $1 million invested. Obviously, it's heavy on Elvis there, but also beyond Elvis, the country music, the blues music, that type thing here in the city of Tupelo. It's located. It's the historical part of the city of Tupelo was known as Shake Rag, which was a very impoverished African American part of the community, where Elvis was influenced with the blues music and that type thing. So it's really a great way. Stop there, in addition to picking up the visitor's guide and that type thing, but to spend 30 minutes, an hour, something like that, really getting to know the history of the city of Tupelo.
It's fascinating to me. I love history, and I love taking trips, and I haven't gone down your direction, and it's definitely going to be on my bucket list to take a road trip down and to see you guys. I really appreciate your time today. For those that might also know that I'm in the travel space, and I'll also have a wholesale discount free link available for you, so you can save up to 35% when you end up booking. And there are places for the city on the website. I just, checked it out. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share with those that are listening? Because I'm always, as I talk to you, I'm just fascinated both, about learning about Elvis and about the history. It's remarkable.
Yeah, just, right now we're still in the midst of COVID-19. Hopefully everyone will be able to get the vaccine pretty soon, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to safe travel in the near future. But when it's safe to travel, we want you to come visit, come see us in Tupelo. The South, we're known for hospitality and good food and good music. So we always There's great places to eat. There's always great music, and you're sure to have a great time in Tupelo.
Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time and sharing all the wonderful information about this city. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.